no idea they were able to be on the other end of that. Capped off by Austin Matthews, one of the top 100 NHL players of all time. Oh, don't be ridiculous. He's not ready for that. He needs at least 2 more 30-goal seasons to be able to be on that list. Hi, Leafs Nation, stand witness for Austin Lucas. Full biblical. Austin Matthews is a Leaf. Why do I watch hockey stressfully? Mostly. Leafs win 4-3 in Chicago overtime over the Chicago Blackhawks. They were in Toronto. It didn't really win. They won! Can I show you something? When Richard Panik scored and made it 3-1, I tweeted frig off, which is not the best language, not the worst though. And then somebody tweeted me, I love this song. Me too! Is that petty? Yes, that is petty. That is as petty as Austin Matthews is a Maple Leaf. I don't get mad at him. Remember last game when I tweeted Frogs and Locusts when the Leafs were up 5-1 and then they weren't up 5-1 anymore? It happens. Let's recap the game. Before we talk about any of the goals, we gotta talk about the officiating because that was the story of an otherwise exciting game. The Leafs took 7 minor penalties to the Chicago Blackhawks 6, which is relatively even garbage. If it's gonna be trash, at least be even about it. Now here's the thing, the NHL keeps going, no, there's no new rules, we're just calling the rules as they're written. Which is the NHL admitting all of that yelling and screaming you've been doing about hockey for your entire life? Yeah, valid. It's the NHL all but literally saying we've been calling it wrong this entire time. So despite the Leafs taking 7 minor penalties, the new NHL should actually be advantageous to them. You can't slash at the hands, you can't do any hooking, holding anything. Guys like Nylander and Marner and Matthews, they can just run roughshod on everybody. But you haven't given my eyes time to adjust. And how are you gonna blame me? I've been watching this thing my entire life, which hasn't been that long. Put yourselves in the shoes of someone who's like 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. Imagine your grandparents watching this game and how confused they must be. I get that the NHL is actually calling the rules the way they're written, and I get that they're trying to right a wrong in a way, but you got to accept the fact that this looks awful to a lot of fans. Unless you're a hardcore fan, and I include all of you in that because I think if you watch hockey YouTube videos, you're a hardcore fan. If you're a casual fan, how do you follow this sport? That's a penalty? Yeah. Has that always been a penalty? Technically. Really? Yes and no. Regular season or playoffs? So did they change the rules or not? Look, just be thankful that the nets are the same size, okay? Is there a lockout soon? There might be, I try not to think about it. So I need to use this opportunity for a game that the Leafs won, and we're gonna get to that right now! But I think it means more when I rant about this when the Leafs win. Complaining about BS because just because your team won does not mean it's not BS. Steve, it's not BS, they're technically calling the road. Do you see why no one likes you, NHL? That should be the slogan. NHL face-off, we're actually calling the rules this time. Less than 4 minutes into the game, the Blackhawks scored. Well, not true. Mitch Marner scored, but the Blackhawks got credit for it. Those pesky Blackhawks, man. Everyone focuses on Kane, Taves, Seabrook, Keith, Anisimov, Saad, but it's the other ones that get ya. The Leafs don't play the Blackhawks often, but when they do, they get scored on by a player I've never heard of. And Richard Panik. And today, that guy I've never heard of is Jan Rutta. Rutta, it's spelled Rutta. They kept saying Rutta on the broadcast, so that's your name. Congrats, you got your second of the year. He has another one? Alright, he might be good. He's a +7. Alright, the Penguins. Just a few minutes later, the Blackhawks are buzzing again. Goal inbound because Richard Panik has the puck. Oh, he didn't score. Oh no, someone else did. Jonathan Taves makes it 2-0 Blackhawks. Leafs get caught puck watching a little bit. Nylander goes behind the net. Taves is right there, and nobody notices him until it's a little too late. And we head to intermission with the Leafs down 2-0. That's not good. Actually, that goal from Jan Rutta marked the first time this season where the Leafs were losing. The first few games are fun for stats. Early in the game, I saw a graphic that said the Leafs power play was 50% and just laughed out loud. Yeah, that'll persist. Yeah, they'll keep that up. Second period, Connor Brown, who had a heck of a good game, gives the puck to Nikita Zaitsev, and the man with 2 twos on his back gets number 2 of the season. The Leafs are only down by 1. I said it before, I'll say it again. Nikita Zaitsev's first goal in his rookie campaign, which was last year, by the way, was December 17th. He's already got 2. Yes, the Leafs have defensive blemishes, and they really need to fix those, I think, as this game demonstrated, but if you get a few more goals from Nikita Zaitsev, which I think the team was counting on heading into last season, it just makes them that much more lethal. Ooh, and on that play, Calle Rosen gets his first career NHL point with an assist, just like Andreas Borgman did in the first game against the Jets. Secondary assist, first career NHL point. And he plays defense and is Swedish. They're practically the same person. It's funny, I feel like they were kind of talked about all summer, like, oh, the 2 Swedes. And then the second they hit the ice, I'm like, not the same. No, not at all. One likes to who glide around and pass the puck, and the other is a Gronk who will murder you. Speaking of which, several dozen power plays and penalty kills later, just under halfway through the third period, Borgman is in the corner with rookie Alex Brincatter, however you want to call him, and he smooshes him. A lot of Leaf fans were really upset by this interference call. I wasn't as upset. A lot of Leaf fans going, what? That was clean. It was a clean hit. It's a beautiful hit. Oh, I don't think anyone's calling the hit dirty. It wasn't an elbow. It wasn't a headshot. But if the player doesn't have the puck, it's interference. Now, as I just ripped on refs earlier, this is one of those situations where I don't want to be one. I don't envy them. I feel horrible for them sometimes. Did DeBrincat have the puck when he was hit? No. Did he try to have the puck? Yes. Should you be allowed to hit a player who's trying to have the puck? Well, I think that's the whole point of that penalty, isn't it? You don't have to like it, but there it is. The Leafs are on the penalty kill again. And, I was planning on making a very different video when this goal went in. Forsling puts it behind the Leafs net. How did it come on? Perfect bounce in the wide open. No, why him? Dick Panic scores his third goal in 3 games, puts the Blackhawks up 3-1. The Leafs are losing by 2. Now again, if you're a Leafs fan, you gotta look at Freddie's numbers early in the season and go, But just like how I went through all the goals in the Rangers game, look at the goals in this one, man. First goal scored on by his own teammate. What are you gonna do? Second goal, maybe you like him to have that, but again, just poor coverage on Jonathan Taves. How do you miss him? And then Forsling with some Sith Lord Darth Sidious magic to get it to Panic, because of course Panic! And it would be fitting in this game that a power play goal against would sink the Leafs. You know what? No. No! No! I was told that this Leafs team knew how to score goals. Do you not know how to score goals? Oh, you do know how to score goals. Well, I couldn't tell because you only have one of them. Every team in hockey, from the team that finishes in last place to the Stanley Cup champions, stops playing hockey when they have a big enough lead and just crawls into a turtle shell. Leafs do it all the time, gets them into trouble. The Blackhawks are no different. So you get in there and do some of that goal scoring stuff. Zaitsev to Connor Brown, who just puts it on. Crappy goal, doesn't matter. They all count. 3-2 Leafs within 1. And you know what? He's allowed to score a crappy goal because he's Connor Brown and had a hell of a game. He deserves one. And I would blame that on Anton Forsberg, but he had otherwise a very good game. Because the Blackhawks are at the front half of a back-to-back and decided to play their backup against the Leafs. What did you learn? Leafs on the power play. Which Blackhawk took a penalty? Don't remember. Too many of them. It was either Panic, Hartman, Keith Seabrook, or Ruda. Bozak goes for a pass and... Why are they celebrating? They're celebrating. The puck goes off JVR skate through Anton Forsberg so quickly I didn't even notice, and we have a tie game. With less than 5 minutes to go, Eastern Conference team versus a Western Conference team. So let's play a 4.5 minute game of pass the puck around until we at least get 1 point each. I'm sure if you ask the players or coaches, they would tell you that's not true. Brr. Overtime comes, 3-on-3, alright. Kane's out there, a little bit of dipsy and doodling, dangling. Blackhawks throw out a trio of Taves, Seabrook, and Keith. That's absurd. But then Riley looking nice and comfortable 3-on-3. Gardner is like the first moment you let a puppy off the leash at the dog park, but for the entire game. For Jake Gardner, when 3-on-3 starts, it's like taking the leash off of a puppy at the dog park. I shouldn't say that too loud. There's 2 little men in the house who might hear that. Rachel Dory from The Athletic texted me this. Leafs OT forward duos. Are you ready? You ready for this? Bozak JVR. Marlo Marner. Oh. Kadri Brown, yeah! Matthews, Neal! Matthews, coming in, clear path, and who else felt just a little bit bad for Anton Forsberg? You're right, me neither. Leafs win! Matthews in overtime, his second of the season! You want to see some destiny? You want to know how I know this was always going to happen? Number 34 scores at the 3-4-3 mark of overtime to make it 4-3 Leafs, or 3-4 if you look at it here. Shoehorning it? Absolutely, but here's a number you can actually chew on. The Leafs are 3-0! 6 points. Now don't count your chickens before they hatch. It's nice that the Leafs have 3 wins, but last year the Leafs ended the season with 40 wins. 6 points are nice, but the Leafs needed 95 to barely squeak into the playoffs. Just like in the Rangers game, great start, but you gotta keep working. One of the questions of the game, and I know this was a long time ago in the video, but what do you think of the way that the NHL is called now? Do you think they'll let up on it? Do you think that it's short-term aggravation that will ultimately lead to a better game long-term? That's what I'm telling myself. I'm telling myself that the players will adjust, the coaches will adjust, because the game's got no flow right now. It's stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. I miss 5-on-5. The NHL is that friend that I keep trying to convince all my other friends is actually cool, but they look completely different every party I bring them to and my friends can't get used to them. Yes, I know my friends don't know what the heck they're missing, but at the same time, I don't blame them for missing it. Other question of the game, Freddie, so far. What do you think? You already know my stance on it. I think a lot of the goals that have gone in haven't really been his fault. I mean, geez, we forget because they won the game 7-2, but he got the Leafs out of the first period against the Jets. He basically won them that game with the assistance of 7 goals. Bad numbers early, but are you actually worried? Same question, but defense. Are you actually worried? That's the one that worries me more. That's the one that worries me. It's not just the defenders, it's the forwards coming back sometimes. They just get bullied in front of the net, they miss assignments, and they make Freddie's job harder. And last question. Isn't this nice? Oh, Austin Matthews is elite. William Nylander is elite. He's looking like Mitch Marner did early last year, having the puck all the time, but it's just not going in. Oh, it's gonna start going in. And despite having a negative game in the possession category, Patrick Marleau, I thought looked great. Guy still got crazy wheels for a 37-year-old. Oh, and I almost forgot. If you had to make your ideal bottom pairing, what would it be? For me, right now, assuming all 3 guys are healthy, it's Borgman on the left, Carrick on the right. No, Carrick is not perfect, but I just don't think Rosen has been good enough to completely kick him out of that spot. Something is up. Something is very strange. If the Leafs were to make a trade, just saying. But enough of that, 3-0. They finished last place a couple years ago. 3-0. Enjoy it. And as for the if I were you segment, Blackhawks fans, if I were you, yeah, I'd be a little frustrated. Like temporarily because the team coughed up a 2-goal lead to lose. But it was in overtime, so that's good. And you know that this just happens sometimes. It happened to the Leafs against you guys last year. You know it just happens. And if I were you, I would just shut up forever because my team has 3 cups and that's amazing. I want to go to there. And last thing, it's a little nitpicky, but if I were you, I would question Coach Q. Why Forsberg against the Leafs and Crawford against the Habs? One team is advertised as nothing but offense and the other team is advertised as having trouble to score. Then again, Corey Crawford is from Montreal. Maybe that's why. And if you come out of it with a victory, there you go. 3 out of 4 points on the road. I guess you can't complain. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends and thanks for watching. I don't know how to spell. I don't know if you saw that last video. You didn't, because it never happened. Leafs are 3-0. Just focus on that.